In this video, we are going to see that if you want to do the proofing or check the dictionary and some of the functions like that, how we can do this in Word. Now to check the proofing options, what we will do is we will go to the file option, and from here we will go to the options, and under here we will click on this proofing tab. Now the first option that we see here is change how the Word corrects and formats text as you type. Now you might have noticed that whenever we make any error in the spelling, it automatically corrects itself. For example, for school, I have mentioned this spelling, but as I press the space bar, it will automatically correct the spelling. So how it is able to do this? It's via autocorrect options. So let's go again. Let's go to the options, and from here we will see this proofing tab. If we click on this autocorrect options, we can see that there are many things mentioned here that is already mentioned. When I write double brackets and within that bracket C, it will be turned into this sign. When I write E like this, it will be turned into this sign, and same thing for many other things. And it has also mentioned the typo errors, that let's say if we accidentally entered double B, it will automatically correct the spelling. Same thing for all the wrong spellings, it will automatically correct itself. So we have all the spellings mentioned here which might be incorrect, so it will automatically correct and replace the text as you type. We also have some options on the top here. Show autocorrect option button is checked. We can correct 2 initial capitals. Let's say that we have mentioned 2 characters as capital and remaining as small, so it will automatically correct. Capitalize the first letter of sentence, so whenever we write anything, the first letter will automatically turn to capital. Capitalize the first letter of the table cells, capitalize name of these. So these are all the options that will be used in autocorrect options. Now you can also use this for more efficient work. Now let's say I want to write as soon as possible, something like this, which involves multiple words. So what I can do here is, if I write ASAP, it should replace it with as soon as possible. I can add this and click OK. Now let's test this. Let's say whenever I write as ASAP and press tab, it will automatically convert it to as soon as possible. And same thing goes for the longer sentence as well. For example, this one. Let's say I wanna feed it here. I'll go to the proofing, autocorrect options, and here I can paste this and write a query, something like that. Add and OK and click OK. And now let's remove this. Whenever I write a query joint and press a space bar or a tab, it will automatically turn it into a sentence. Similarly, we can ignore some of the spelling. Let's say we have a lot of things in our document which Word identified it as a spelling error, but these are just the special words which is not in the dictionary. So what we can do is either we can add them in the dictionary, or what we can do is we want Word to ignore that spellings. So I will go to the options from the file menu, and from here I'll go to, now let's say in this particular document we are using a couple of words that is not identified in the English dictionary. So we can create an exception for that in Word document. So let's say that this is the exception for this particular document. I want to hide the grammar errors in this document only. Let's click OK. And now we can see that nothing is highlighted as a spelling error here. Now these suggestions, these are from the Grammarly software. That is a separate software, but otherwise Word is not identifying any words for correction. Now one thing that, let's say that you are writing in some other language. So in that case, you can either change the language from here at the bottom. You have the option to change from English to a different language. Or let's say that you are using the English but of a different variant. So you can write it here and just choose accordingly. So it might not show you that errors that it is showing in the United States English. Same thing goes for the other languages, but for other languages, it will automatically detect the language. So you don't have to manually set it. And you can also set it from here that do not check spelling or grammar. You can just stick this and click OK. Now, if you want to check a spelling or proofread the whole document even, we can go to the review tab and we can check the spellings and grammar. So it shows you this message that we are finished checking your selection. You want to check the rest of the document. So it shows you that this doesn't contain any error. This spelling is fine. So let's click yes. And what it will do is it will identify the rest of the spellings in the document and it will come up with few solutions. So for example, you have mentioned this word and it is suggesting that you should replace it with this spellings. So you can just replace this. Or if it is a new word which is not identified in the English dictionary, for example, a place or a person's name, and you use that frequently in this document, and you use this not only in this document, but in future documents as well. So instead of correcting that every time, what we can do is we can add it to dictionary. So in this case, we will just replace it with the suggestion. And here it will check the other spellings as well. So let's replace those as well. And now all the spelling and grammar check is complete and all the spellings are correct. One interesting thing is you can read this passage aloud in Microsoft Word. So for that, we will just right click by selecting a word and let's click on read aloud option.
The history of America is a rich tapestry woven from diverse cultures, civilizations, and transformative events.
And if you want to make some settings here, you can make some adjustments here as well. You can increase the reading speed, and in the voice selection we only have one voice, but we can increase the speed. Let's hear now.
America is a rich tapestry woven from diverse cultures, civilizations, and
so like this. Now let's do one thing. I can just go to the options and let's go to proofing and just uncheck this hide grammar errors in the document, and let's make an error in the spelling. We can enable the checker as well. Let's say this one, check spelling as you type. So now we can see that the spellings mistakes are identified in red and the grammatical error is identified in blue. So that's what you need to keep in mind. And this double dash with a blue line indicates a simple mistake. As we can see here that after a sentence is complete, it should immediately end with a full stop. But if I make some grammatical error like this, it was encompasses the story. So let's see this suggestion. It will show you this, that if the past tense is used, this should be encompassing the story. So we can change that. So this is how you identify the grammar errors and the spelling errors. Now, if you don't want to use the single word over and over again, we can use some synonyms for that easily here. What I can do is, let's say I want to replace the rich word with some other word. What I can do is just right click here and select synonyms. And we can see that we have synonyms for that. Same thing goes here. Let's say we select the history, right click here, and we can check the synonyms, past, times gone by, times past, all of these. What we can also do is, let's say I select a word, and you can also go to the review tab, and from here you can select this option right here. And in this way, it can suggest you a long list of names which we can replace the synonyms. Now, after finalizing the document, if you want to make some print settings, what we can do is we can go to the file menu and we can click on the print option right from here. You can select the printer from here. You can select how you want the document to be printed, whether you want to print all pages or just the current page. And you can even set the custom pages where you specify that I want to print 1, I want to print 2, 3, like this. So you can specify that, and you can select that you want to print on both sides or just a single side. We can also change the portrait orientation to landscape. Let's say if we want to print it like this, we can change it right here. We can also specify how we want the printer to print the document, whether we want the legal size, the A4, A3 size, whatever. You can choose according to your requirements. Now, if you want to configure it further, we can go to the page setup, and here we can make all of these settings. If you want to adjust the margins from the top left or bottom or right position, you can easily adjust this via here. And you can see the preview here as well, how it will affect the overall document. As you can see here, that it will show something like this in the margin. So if we adjust it from the left, you can see the changes here. Similarly, if you want it to leave some margin from the top, let's say like this, we can adjust it here. Let's say we have a company letterhead, so we can adjust it like this, and you can see in the preview how it will look. So after that, we can click OK, and you can also see the demo of the document here as well. And after that finalization, if you want to print it right away, you can simply select your printer and we can click on print here. But otherwise, if we want to save it as a PDF, what we will do is we will open the printer settings, and from here we will select Microsoft Print to PDF. And let's say if I now print this, it will ask you for the location to save this document. And let's say printable document is my document name, and we can save this. And if we want to open this from here in the desktop, we have the PDF version now. So these are all the common options of the proofing dictionary and how you can save the document. Just try it by yourself, and I will see you in the next one.